The Nigerian Guild of Editors has announced the third edition of the Lateef Jakande Memorial Lecture, scheduled for July 23, 2025. This annual event honors the late Alhaji Lateef Jakande, a former governor of Lagos State and former NGE president. This year's lecture themed journalism and the challenge of nation building in a multi-ethnic society will be delivered by Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed at the Edmark, the Podium International Event Center in Ikeja, Lagos. Local State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun will chair the occasion, while Lagos Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will be the special guest of honor. The Minister of Information Malam Mohammed Idris will serve as the guest of honor. The lecture series, initiated in 2023, celebrates Jakande's legacy in journalism and governance. Previous speakers have included Chief Felix Adinaike in 2023 and Prince Nduka Obaigwena in 2024. NGE looks forward to another engaging discussion on journalism's role in nation building, and to have a conversation about the third edition of the Lateef Jakande Memorial Lecture. Dr. Iyabosa Uwugiaren, a journalist, now joins us. Good to have you with us, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So can you, very good. So can you reflect on the major objectives and achievements of the Lateef Jakande Memorial Lecture since inception?
Yeah, like you rightly said in your introduction, Jakande Annual Memorial Lecture was initiated in 2023 by the Nigerian Guild of Editors under the leadership of Eze Anamba, the president of the Guild. The whole idea was to, honor the contribution of Jakande to journalism profession and the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Of course, Jakande was the first president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, the professional body of all editors and media executive in Nigeria that was founded in 1961. Apart from that, it was also intended to, preserve his memory, ensuring that his work and achievements are not forgotten, so that we continue to remind the young editors of today, young journalists of today, about the role Jakande played in journalism, especially for the struggle for Nigerian independence, using his journalism profession to right the wrong in our society and to ensure that we have a better society that we are living in today. Apart from the fact that he was an editor, he was the first president of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Don't forget that Jakande was also the executive governor of Lagos State. Whether we like it or not, part of the institutional framework that we have in Lagos State today, the institution across board in education, in housing, in health sector, we are all initiated by Lateef Jakande as executive governor of Lagos State. And we believe that there should be a memorial lecture, annual memorial lecture, to continue to remind both the political elite, the editors, the journalists, the need for us to continue to imbibe that values that Jakande left behind, or Jakande was noted for while he was alive. So this year will be the third in series, and like you said, we have invited the executive governor of Bauchi State as a keynote speaker. And of course, the theme is journalism and the challenges of nation building in multi-ethnic society.
Very well. In what ways do you think the fact that his life and legacy straddles both journalism and governance, as you rightly said, in what ways do you think that these dual contributions remain relevant to today's media and, of course, political landscape?
Well, I think the annual lecture, provides us with a platform for intellectual discourse, encouraging discussions on typical national issues. Don't forget, last year, the lecture was delivered by the editor-in-chief of Arise Media Group, Nduka Obaigwena, who talked about using digital platform to promote good journalism in the country. But this year we are looking at the challenges of national buildings in multi-ethnic society, and what should be the role of journalism in this discourse. The topic is timely. Don't forget that at present we have so many national issues that is affecting us as a country. The issue of good governance, the issue of insecurity, the issue of poverty and unemployment. And we believe that this annual lecture that is taking place on July 23 will provide us with opportunity for intellectual discourse around those issues. And I think that is the best way to remember Lateef Jakande. Don't forget that when he was a governor in Lagos State, Jakande was a true definition of good governance. Most of what the Lagosians are enjoying today as a result of the initiative by Alhaji Lateef Jakande. So it's an avenue to remind Nigerians about the good work of Jakande and for the oncoming politicians to take a cue from what Jakande left behind. So for me, for us as members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, I think it is a good way to remember somebody who left behind indelible mark in our governance, structures, in journalism profession, and in good governance. So I think this is an opportunity for us to also remember him.
Very good, Doctor. Now, beyond the theme of this year's lecture, what are the major highlights? And regarding the key speakers themselves, how did you get them to get involved in this lecture?
Don't forget that Jakande was not just a Lagos State political figure. He was also a national figure. You remember he was the Minister of Works and Housing during the interim government headed by Enna Shonekon. But apart from that, as a governor of Lagos State, as the president of Guild of Editors, the first president of the Guild of Editors, Jakande, had a network of friends across the country. So the whole idea is not to limit the conversations around Jakande to Lagos State, but also, to bring people from diverse ethnic or political background, to begin to have the conversations around those issues. And this year, we decided to invite the current governor of Bauchi State, who is also a journalist. He was also a journalist. He was a senator. He was a minister, and currently the governor of Bauchi State. We believe that we should also hear from him his own perspective about what Jakande stood for while he was alive, and the need for us to begin to imbibe those cultures and those values. Apart from him, we also have the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Idris Mohammed, who will come as a guest speaker. I'm sure he will also be telling journalists about the role of editors, or the role of journalists in the challenges of nation building and multi-ethnic society. Of course, the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakpo Abiodun, will also be there as chairman. And we have other seasoned editors who will discuss the presentations. We're going to have the former editor-in-chief and managing director of The Guardian, Emeka Ezeze. We're going to have Stella Dean, the editor-in-chief of TVC. We also have the former president of the Guild, Funke Igbomude, and so many others who will be there to discuss the presentations. And I'm sure at the end of the day, we're going to have a robust conversations around the theme of this year lecture.
All right, I believe so too. But if Alhaji Lateef Jakande were alive today, what do you think would be his message to Nigerian journalists, especially looking at the current modern pressure of misinformation, disinformation, fake news? What do you think would be his advice to journalists today?
Well, like every other sector, like every other profession, the journalism, or if we call it, has its own challenges. Those challenges were as a result of the situation we find ourselves in the society, the harsh economic environment under which journalists are forced to practice. So much so that we are also, losing some ground when it comes to ethics of ethical conduct Don't forget that when Jakande was alive, he was a symbol of ethical journalism, and that's what he represented, even as the editor of the Nigeria Tribune, later the editor-in-chief of Nigeria Tribune. Don't forget that Jakande was also a lecturer in the Nigeria Institute of Journalism, where he lectures ethics of journalism. I'm sure he would have been so worried about the situation we find ourselves today. I'm sure he would have advised journalists or editors to keep to those ethical values. Don't forget that as you talk about the misinformation, disinformation, and fake news. Don't forget that one of the core values of journalism profession is that we don't have the mandate to fabricate stories. The story we tell almost on a daily basis, is factual, and we don't have the mandate to fabricate stories. But if you also look at journalism practice today, I'm talking of the legacy media houses. There are issues, but the major problem we have in the whole world today, it's not peculiar to Nigeria alone, is the social media, where you have so many disinformation, fake news, and propaganda, around national issues. But I think the good thing is that legacy medias are encouraged to fast-check their stories because they are trained journalists. In journalism, there are processes that you follow to produce your stories. But what is lacking in social media is that anybody with a good phone today, can call himself journalist. But for those of us who are trained journalists, I think we still have respect for ethical conduct.
Well, we hope that you're able to achieve all that you plan to achieve with this upcoming event. Thank you so much for your time, Iyabosa, Dr. Iyabosa Uwugiaren, journalist, for your time on the show.